Hey guys, so we are going to take a look in how to play Mary Had a Little Lamb by Stevie Vaughan. So if you have a tuner at home, you need to grab it because the tuning, it's half step down. So you're going to need to use it. Remember, on the description of the video, you have a link to the website where you can get tabs from there. And you also have a link to the different sections of the video. You know, like chorus, solo, and you know, the different sections. All right, so grab the guitar and let's begin. Okay, so before we can begin, you need to know that the tuning, it's half step down. If you use your guitar with the standard tuning, that's gonna work, you know, it's gonna sound okay. But if you play on top of the original track, it's gonna sound a little bit off. So you need to tune your guitar half step down. So the intro of the song has two sections. First, we're going to go note by note on the first one, and then we're going to go to with the second one. So to begin, we're going to do the following. All right, that's how we're going to be starting. So first, we're going to go to the A string, open A string, then second of the A, and then open D string, all right? And then we're going to go back to the A string and we do open to open. And to finish, third fret of the sixth of the E string, and then we finish on the D string on the second position. Let's go in slow tempo. Next, we're going to do this. That's the chord. On the tab, you have the name. So you get the third position on the B string, the first position on the G string, and the second position on the D string. So what we do, pretty much we do the same, but as we go through the song, you're gonna find some variations of the same thing. So on this one, we're gonna do that. So we do a downstroke, upstroke, and we kill the notes. And then that's what we need to do. One more time. Notice that with this hand, I'm killing the strings, I'm killing the sound. And then to finish, open E string, and we strike one more time, and then we kill the notes again. Next, we do that. We strike the open A string, and we do a hammer on to the second position. And then we strike one more time the second position, and then we do it again. So basically, we are going to the second position 3 times. And then open A string, third position of the E string, and second of the D. Now notice again when we go to 3, I'm doing a tiny bend. Right? It's a very subtle tiny bend. Then we go back to the same position than before, but this time we do it 4 times. Next section. Right, we can do that. So we go to the A string, second position, hammer on to the fourth of the A string again, and then we go to the second of the D string, and we strike the second 3 times. I'm sorry. 3 times, and then we go to the 5th position and we do it 2 times. We do it twice. Now, in slow tempo makes no sense. Let me play it a little bit, you know, a little bit faster. That's what we need to do. Then after we do that, we go to the 7th of the D string, strike, hammer on, slide to 8, slide back to 7, and then a pull off to 5. And then we strike the open A string. That's what we need to do. And then we're going to change something. We're going to go to this position. So third of the E string, and then we make a bar on the B, the G, and the D string. And we just pretty much do the same thing we did right here, but on this position. We strike it 4 times. Next section. All Right, that's what we need to do. We strike the open A string and then we do a slide from the first of the A to the second of the A. Then we go to open D string, then back to the A string, and we pretty much repeat the same thing we did before. Open A, second, open A, 3 with the tiny bend, and then the second of the D string. One more time. And now the next movement, it's just like the first part we did before. Twice, we strike, kill the notes, strike, kill it. And then open E string, and we strike one more time. Next section. We're gonna do that. So after we do the last strike on the 3-1-2, we do that. We go to the open A string, play it, and do a hammer on to the second fret, and we strike it twice, right? So pretty much we are doing the second position 3 times. After we do that, we go back to the open A string and we go 1 and 2, right? Everything happens on the A. That's the movement. Now when we are here, we need to go to this chord. So we're gonna go to the second fret of the G, then to the first of the D, and back to the second of the G. That's the movement. And after we do that, very quickly, we go here. We're gonna go to the second fret of the E string, strike it twice, and then we go back to the open A string and we just let it ring. Let's go again, slow tempo. And the next part, we're gonna do that. We're gonna go to the E string, we strike it, we do a tiny bend, and then we go again, we just gonna kill the strings. There's no release, we just do the bend, we kill it, and then open E string. Then we go to the B string and we strike third on the B string, open B string. And then to finish, we're gonna do that. We go to the second of the G string, slide to the fourth position, and then we strike open E string, open E string, then 3 and 4 again, back to 4. So basically we just do, that's what we need to do. When we slide to 4, we do kind of a sweeping motion from open string, second fret, and then third fret, and then the fourth. As soon as we hit the fourth, we need to slide to the second position and do a pull off to the open string. In a slow tempo, again, makes no sense. And as soon as we do the pull off, we go to the second position of the D string. That's where the lick ends. Again, slow makes no sense. Let me play it a little bit faster. That's the movement. And to finish, that's what we're gonna do. We strike the open E string, and then we go to third, all right? 3 of the first, 3 of the second, first of the G string, and then second of the fourth string. We strike it 3 times, one more time the open string, and then we finish the section. Let's go again. Okay, so let me play the whole section, the first part in slow tempo, and then we just move forward to the next one. Right, so the next section, it's pretty much like the first one. A lot of things are going to be the same, but we have a few variations. So let me just play the first part, and then we go note by note. That's what we're going to do at the beginning. So it's pretty much the same what we did previously on the first section, but in this one we need to add hammer-ons and pull-offs. So open A, hammer-on to the second, open D, and then open A, hammer-on, pull-off to the open A again, and then 3 and 2. Right? It's pretty much the same. The only difference is that we are adding hammer-on and pull-off. Then the next part, again, we repeat the section twice, then open string, and then just like we did before. Next section, we pretty much repeat what we did before. Right? Open A, go to the second position, we strike it twice, open A, 3 and 2. Again, I'm not gonna go slow on this one because we kind of did it before. And then, and we repeat the same part than the previous section, all right? With the one we just did. The next one, this one is different, it's kind of new. So we kind of do the same thing we did right here, but instead of ending on the second fret of the D string, we ended on the open A string. So open A, second, second, open A, 3, and instead of going to 2, we go to the open A string. And now we go to the other position, 3 and the bar on the second fret. And we strike it 4 times. The next part, we can repeat again. Alright, same thing we did before, hammer on to the second, open D string, open A, second, open A, 3, and we finish on the D string. You kind of know that one. Now, here comes the difference. After we do this, you're gonna do that, alright? So we go to the after this section. After we finish that, we do open E string, then 3rd fret of the B string, we do a bend, and an open, and then we strike the open E string. After we finish that, we're gonna do something like that. That's the movement. So we go to 3 of the E string, 1 of the A, and 2nd of the A. And then we do, again, the same position than before. 2nd of the G, 1st of the D, and now we're gonna go to, with the pinky, to the 2nd fret of the E string and open B string. One more time. And after we finish on the open B string, we strike the open A string, and we pretty much repeat the same lick than before. Something like that. Right? So let me show in a slow tempo. One more time. Alright? So this lick, the final lick, it's the same than the other one. It's pretty much the same. There's only one tiny difference. If you listen to the original track, you're gonna notice it. Instead of doing that sweeping motion, we start, on the open E string, and then we do that. Instead of doing that, we're gonna go just to the 3, and then 4, and slide to the 2, and then open string. That is the only difference. So, and then we go to the open A string. Right? And to finish, same thing we did before. Yeah, made a mistake right there. But we just go to the final part, we just repeat it again. So it's always the same. And at the outro of the song, we're still gonna repeat the same thing we are doing right here. So I'm not gonna talk about it. Right, so the next section is going to be the bursts. What are we going to do on the bursts? Well, on the bursts, it's pretty much the same idea what we did right here. So let me show you. Okay, so on the bursts, we pretty much repeat the same idea of what we did. So I'm going to play it first, and then we're going to go note by note. So we're going to do something like that. Again, you can grab just the chords which is did and play just that. I'm just going to show you. So first, we're going to go here. We strike on the 7th of the D string, and then we go 6, 7, and 8. And we strike it 4 times. We go open string, and then we strike it 3 times. I'm sorry for that, but we strike 3 times. Now, of course, something happens right here. So we're going to do that. So after we go to the open string and we strike it twice, the last time we do it, when we strike it, we quickly go here and we go to 3 of the E string, tiny bend, and then 2nd of the D string. Right? And then open E string. Now we're going to go to the next position, which is 3, 1, and 2. Same position we did previously. And we do it 4 times. Then open E string, and we repeat that 4 times again. Right? Let me show you again, slow tempo. All right, then we're gonna go to the 2nd fret of the A string, and we do 2, 2. So it's again the same chord, right? So we do 2, 2 of the G, 1st of the D, and then 2nd of the E, and open E string. It's pretty much the same thing we did before. Same idea. And then we do that. 2nd of the E string, we do a tiny bend, and then open A string, and then we go to the other position. And we do that. We strike it 3 times, and we finish doing that. 3, tiny bend, and then 2nd of the D. And then to finish, just like we did before, open E string, 3 times, open E string again, and we strike it 1 more time, and we are done with the burst. So let me just play it again, and then we go with the solo. Just like I told before, you can just play the chords, man. So you can go here. Right? Then open E string, you just play with the open E and the open A, and then right? It's the same idea, and it's gonna sound nice on top of the, the rest of the song. Okay, so let's go to the solo. Okay, so let's go with the solo. First, I'm gonna play maybe the first 2 licks, and then of course we just keep moving forward. So let's go with the first one. So that's the first lick. So we're gonna start on the 15th of the B string. We strike it, and we do a pretty large bend. So when we are actually doing the bend, we need to give it a little bit of a vibrato. And then to keep moving forward, we do that. We go to the 14th of the G string, we strike it, do a bend, a release, pull off to the 12th of the G string, and then we go to the D and do 14, pull off to 12, and we finish on the 14th. The difference right here is that this movement, it's kind of quick, and we don't actually kind of listen to this. It's very smooth. Notice that I'm not playing with this hand. I'm just, you know, kind of a tapping right here. Next section. So we do that. We use hybrid picking. With this part of the hand, with the pick, we're gonna strike the upper string and then the lower string, you know, with E string in this case, with the finger. That's the idea. Of course, you can use your finger if you wish. So we're gonna start on the 14th of the D string and the 12th of the E string. And we're gonna do that just once. Now my recommendation would be for you to make a bar right here, because later we're gonna go to the 12th of the G. So if you do a bar, you're just ready to do it, right? Ready to play that. So it's 14 and 12, then 12 and 12, and now we're gonna go to 14 and 12, and we need to do kind of a hammer on. So we do 12 again, or you can do just the hammer on to 15, right? That's the idea. So 12, 14, and do hammer on. Then we go back to 12 and 14th, then 12 and 12, and then we go back again to 14 and 12 and do twice. And to finish, we strike the second of the B string, on the BC, the 12th of the B string and the 12th of the G string. And we do a tiny bend, right? Let's go in slow tempo. One more time. Next movement, we do that. So we go to 14th of the D string, we strike it just once. Then there's a dead note. If you listen to the original track, it's kind of there. And then 14th, pull off to the 12th, go back to 14th, we go to 12th of the G string, and we do 12 and a tiny bend. And then 14th, pull off to 12, and we finish on the 14th of the A string. Again, let me play it in slow tempo. All right. So, of course, this needs to happen faster. All right. So the next lick. Right, that's what we need to do, and then so we're gonna do that. So when we are on the 14th of the D string, what we're gonna go to the back to the D string, but you can stay on the D string, and we're gonna do, oh sorry, we are on the 14th of the A string. Sorry for that. So we go to the D string and we do that movement. 12th of the D, 14th of the D, and we strike it twice. Then 12th of the G, and we go to 14th of the G string and we do a bend. And when we do the bend, we go to the 12th of the B string. Next section. So there are many ways to do this. On the tab that you have right there at the bottom, we're gonna do that. All right. After we do that, we're gonna go 12, 15, and then we kind of kill that note. We stay on the 15. We do a tiny bend. It's like going to 16. We strike it, and then we go to 17. So it's pretty much like doing that. 15, 16, and 17th. All right. Go again. And then, of course, after we go to 17, we go back to 12. Sorry. Now, there are many ways you can do this. You go 12, 15, and instead of doing that bend, you can simply go to 16. That's it. And then instead of going to 17, you can go to 12. It's the same note, so you can go 12, 15, 16, 12. And then finish on the 12th of the B string. Next section, we're gonna do that. So we can slide to the 16th of the G string, then 15, 17, 15 of the E. And to finish, we go back to 17 of the B string. And to finish, we do that. We go to the 12, we make a bar, and we strike 12 of the E, 12 of the B, and we go to 14 of the G, but we need to strike it twice this time. And to finish, we go to 12 of the G and we do a vibrato. Alright, so let me go this whole section, what we got so far, and then we just move forward. Alright, so next section, after that, we're gonna do so that is the next part. So after the the sweeping motion and the 12 with the vibrato, what we're gonna do, we do that. We go to 14 of the D, we strike it and we do a pull off the 12. Then 14 of the A string, 12 back to 12 of the D, and then 14 of the D. So of course we don't stop here. Then we just keep moving forward. We go to 12 of the G and then 14 of the G, but we do a bend. All right. So after we do the bend, we go 12 on the B, 15. And we do this pretty much the same motion we did before with the bend. So it's 12, 15, we strike 15 again, but this time we do a bend, we do a pre-bend, and we strike the next note. Again, sounds confusing, let me show you in slow tempo, it's gonna make sense. Right? After we do that, we go to 12 of the E string, back to 12 of the B string, 15 of the B, and then 17 of the B. Just like we did before, you can do that. 12, 15, 16, 12. You can, again, instead of doing the bend, you can just go to the next note. So when we finish on the 17, what we're going to do is we go to 15 of the E string, and then we go to 17 of the E. We do a bend, and notice that there's no release. I'm not doing that. I'm doing just the bend, and I kill the note. Then, after we kill the note, we go to 15 of the E string, and then we do that. We do a pre-bend, I'm doing the bend without striking on the string, and I just strike and do the release, right? Just going back to the original position. And then I go to 17 of the B string, and that's where, the lick ends. The next lick, we're gonna do that. So, when we finish on the 17 of the B string, we strike 17 again, 15, 17, and then we do that bend again with the one we did before. Right? So we do the bend, there's no sound on the bend, we just do a pre-bend actually, and then we strike it, and then we go to 17. So again, it's like doing something like that. Something like that. So we just striking, I'm doing the bend, I'm striking that higher note, I do the release without a sound, and then strike 17 again. So I know it sounds confusing. Let's go again. And that's what we need to do. After we go and we do the 17, we go to 15 of the E string, 17 of the B, 15 of the B, and then 16, 15, and we go to 14, but this time we do a bend a release, a pull off, 14 on the D, and back to 12. Let me play the whole section. All right, let me play it again, this whole part, and then we just move forward to the next one. All right, so next section. We're gonna do something like that. So in the first part, on the previous part, when we finish on the 12, we finish doing something like that. What we're gonna do, we're gonna go to the D string, and we do that. 14, pull off 12, 14 of the A, 12, and 14 on the D. Right? One more time. Right. Then we're gonna go to 12 of the G string, and we're gonna go now to the 14 of the G, strike it, we do a bend, and now we make a bar. So we go 12 of the B, 12 of the E, back to 12 of the B. Right, one more time. Next, we go 15 of the B, back to 12 of the B. And now we need to do 14 of the E, and we strike the 12 of the E string, hammer on to 13, and pull off back to 12. I know it sounds confusing. Now, the key right here is to make a bar right here. Never move that bar. Then, of course, with this finger, or maybe the other one, you're gonna play in other places. But this bar sticks. So let me just show you. All right, so notice that this finger is not moving. So that's what we need to do. So after we do the hammer on and pull off back to 12, we need to go to 15, and then back to 12, and then 12 of the B, and back to 12 of the E. Next, we do that. Again, we still make it the bar. When we finish on the 12 of the E, we do 15, and when we strike 15, we do a bend, and we go back to 12 of the E. Then 12 of the B again, and we pretty much we pretty much repeat the movement of 14 of the G, bend, 12 of the B, 12 of the E. So notice, again, it's always about this bar. Right? That's what we need to do. And then what we need to do now, it changes. It changes because we need to go to the next section. So we strike on the 15 of the B, and then 14 of the G, and we do a bend. But when you do the bend on the 14th, then you can strike 15 again while both strings are ringing. Again, sounds confusing. Let me just show you. That's the movement. Notice I'm striking 15, 14, still ringing, and I'm playing 15 again. And then to move forward, I strike 14 again and I do the release. And after we do the release, 12 of the G and 14 of the D. Let's go again. Sorry, let's go again. One more time. Go one more time with this final lick, and then we go to the kind of I wouldn't call it complicated, but it's kind of weird. Okay, so let me repeat this lick one more time in slow and then fast. And then we move forward to the next weird part. And now a little bit faster, more in tempo. Missed the note right there, but that's okay. I believe you get the point. So now, when we finish, and remember that we need to we finish on the 14th of the D string, we're gonna go to the next section. You're gonna do something like that. Of course, in more detail. So let's take a look at that right now. Okay, so the next section, I'm gonna play a little bit of the previous part so I can, connect both. Something like that. Then, this one is the next part. So, after we finish with the previous lick, we finish on the 14th of the D string. Now, what we're gonna do, it's always play between the always use the second and the third string, and then we're gonna go to the 14th and something else, but mostly it's just the strings. So what we do, we're gonna strike both strings at the same time. So when we finish on the 14th, we go and make a bar on the 12th. We're gonna do a bar that right there. Then we need to go to 14th, and now on the tab right there, right at the bottom, you're gonna see that it says that we need to go to 15. So what we need to do here, instead of just going to 15, we make a bend. We do a bend with the both strings. And again, it's just like going to 15, but we are doing it with a bend. Then we do the release again, and we go back to 14th, strike 14th, and then go back to 12. Now slow tempo makes no sense. So we need to do something like that. Right? So when we finish on the 12th of the B and the G, we go back to 14th of the D, then make a bar again, 12 and 12, go back to 14th, and then now we need to make a bar, but this time on the 14th, and then on the 12th. So when we finish on the 12th and 12th, we need to do that movement. So it's 14, pull off to 12, 14 of the A, back to 12 of the D, and we strike 14th on the D twice. Then what we need to do is we kind of repeat the same movement twice. So first we start on the 12th of the B and the G, then 14 of the D, and we do 14, 12, then 14 on the D, and then 14, 12. Right? It's pretty much the same movement twice. Next, to move forward, we're going to change things a little bit. It's pretty much the same idea we did at the beginning. It's 14 on the D string, and then we need to go to 12, 14th, and this time, instead of doing a bend, we're going to go to 15, back to 14th, and then 12, right? So it's the same idea without the bend. And when we finish on the 12th, we go to 14th of the D, and we finish on the 12th again. So in a slow tempo, sounds like crap, of course. So, oh, sorry, let me begin again. Start again. So that's the entire movement in a slow tempo, but of course, we need to do it much, much faster. Right, so that's what we need to do. Again, it looks a little bit weird or maybe complicated, but it's really not. After a while, when you memorize what you need to play, it's kind of a simple. So the difficult thing is that you need to practice it. That's it. So when we finish on the 12th and 12th of the B and the G, we're going to do that. So it's 14 of the G, we of course do a bend, then 12 of the B, 12 of the E, and back to 12 of the B. Then we go to 15 of the B, and we do that. We strike 15, we do a bend, and a little bit of vibrato. And to finish, we strike the bend, we do a release, and a pull off to 12. Next movement. We do that, 12, 15, and now we need to do a prevent, right? It's like bend, like going to 17. We do a prevent, we strike that note, and there's no release. Then we strike it again, right? 12, 15, prevent, and the second time, of course, we do a release. Now we pretty much do the same thing, and we do a prevent, and we strike it again. And this time, again, we do the release. Now the second time, after, of course, we do the release, we do a bend, and one more bend. One more time. To move forward, we are actually doing the bend. We do that. So we do the release 12, and we go to 14th of the G string. We do a bend, we kill it, we do the release, and we strike 14th again. Then 12th, 14th, and then 12th of the G, 14th, and we do a bar on the 12th of the B and 12th of the G. Let's go again. Okay, so next part, I changed something on the sound configuration because it was kind of weird. So you're gonna notice the difference. So the next section, after we do, we're gonna do that. So again, when we finish doing that, we need to go to 14 of the G string. We do a bend and a bar on the 12th and 12th. So we go 12th of the B, 12th of the E, and back to 12th of the B. That's the movement. Next, 15, bend, back to 12, 12th of the B, and then 12th of the E. Then 15 of the B, we do a bend, and we go back to 12th of the E, 12th of the B, 15, and pull off back to 12th of the B. One more time. Again, slow tempo makes no sense. Next movement, we do that. We go to 14 of the G, do a bend, a release, 14 and 12. Again, when we do the bend, we kill the note and then we do the release, strike 14 and 12. Everything happens on the G. One more time. That's the movement. And next, we do that. 14 of the D string, pull off to 12, and we make a bar on the 12 of the G and the B, and we strike it twice. To move forward, we do that. 14, pull off to 12, 14 of the A string. Then we go to 12 of the D string, and we pretty much strike it twice. So that's the movement. When we strike the 12th of the D string, we do that movement. It's it's very, very quick. 14, pull off the 12, 15 of the E, and then 12 and hammer on to 14th. Right? One more time. And to finish, we do that. When we finish doing that, we go to 12 of the E string, then a bar on the B and the G string, strike twice, 14th, the same bar on the 14th fret, then back to 12, and then we go to the D string and we finish 14, 12, and 14th. Let me play this whole section slow tempo. then and we start with the burst. You know, the burst comes in again. And that is it. Of course, after the solo, we repeat the burst. And then we go back to the outro. And the outro, we play the exact same thing we did back in the intro, right? So you know the whole song. So the solo, it's not that hard, I would say, but it's not that easy. It's not an easy solo. You need to have some technique. So if you know you're not able to play it just yet, know that you need to develop your technique first. It's not because you know you're dumb or something like that. It's not that easy, right? You need a lot of practice to get there. But don't worry, you're gonna get there. You need to just practice the same thing. For example, if you're not really comfortable doing or something like that, you just need to practice that part in slow tempo. Something like that, I don't know. Now, the only thing is that you need to do in slow tempo first. And then you just need to play with it. Go to different sections, just repeat the same section. And then just add things to it, because when you add and you're trying to create your own lick or something like that, and you use this section, you're creating, and your brain, it's working. So at one point you're gonna memorize, and you're gonna learn all that pattern, because it's just a pattern. That's what it is. So after a while, you're gonna know how to do that, and then you're gonna come back to this solo, and you're gonna be able to do it, and you just move forward to the next lick that it's not working for you. Just remember, just fool around with your guitar. You see something that you cannot do, and just repeat it, maybe add some notes or something like that. That's the best and the only way to learn with the guitar, at least. Okay, so I hope this tutorial helped you. So catch you on the next one, man.